At 17, me and my twin brother had attended a little local party for people within our year group, and it all started out great, as all parties do, but something always goes down. Long story short, halfway through the night, my twin brother had witnessed his girlfriend cheating on him, which led him into a breakdown. Note, my brother does not trust women, and the second he let his guard down, it blew up. So you can imagine how much it hurt him. He was sitting against the fence, curled up in a little ball, wailing. I was by his side the whole night, and I had never ever felt so shit for him. I had left for 2 seconds to go grab another beer because I definitely fucking needed it. And for the 2 seconds I was gone, the guy who his GF had cheated with was grabbing my brother, trying to pull him up, saying, "It isn't that deep, just get over it," proceeding to slap the top of his head full force. I had witnessed this, and honestly, rage just fulfilled my whole body. I am not usually a violent person and don't condone fighting, but I have taken many BJJ and Muay Thai lessons over the past 5-6 years to be able to protect myself. But I picked this guy up. He isn't heavy or tall, roughly 65 kilograms and 5.6, and dropped him on his head on the grass, which now looking back was the dumbest thing I could have ever done, because it could have ended horribly, following with an elbow as he hit the ground. My brother had come in to grab me off, when two of this guy's friends jumped in and repeatedly kicked me in the back of the head. As this is all unfolding, it is now a 2v3 and we were outnumbered. My brother having to take on two guys, roughly the same size, 60 to 65 kills and 5.6, while I'm fighting this dude in a bush. The host had come out and tried to separate us, but we had always found a way to continue fighting. After everything had unfolded, I had a split lip, split eyebrow, and a concussion, while the dude I fought had sustained a little worse than me. My brother walked away with around the same injuries as me, and my brother had done the impossible and managed to knock out of the two guys with a flush overhand right across the temple. People might say I was a dick for starting this fight. And I agree, I was a dick. But I have never ever bonded so well with my twin brother over a brawl, and will never forget his face when he realizes he had knocked out somebody, pure terror, but the face of accomplishment. The guy I fought in the bush now has a restraining order on me, which is fine because I moved away not too long ago and I wasn't charged with any crimes. Story 2. My fiancé and I are planning our destination wedding in a beautiful but faraway location. We know this means fewer people will be able to come, and honestly, we're okay with that. We want it to be an intimate and special event with people who genuinely support our marriage. Here's the problem. My nemesis is the wife of my fiancé's best friend. I don't use the term nemesis lightly. This woman has made it her personal mission to ruin every event we've both attended. She always finds a way to make herself the center of attention. For context, I was not invited to their wedding for the same reasons, although their wedding was local. My fiancé insists that because of the distance, we have to invite couples together, meaning my nemesis would be on the guest list. He's worried that if we exclude her, his best friend won't come. I, on the other hand, categorically do not want this woman at my wedding. I already know exactly how this will go. She will pull some kind of dramatic stunt for attention, or potentially try to ruin my wedding day because she's just that kind of person. Knowing her, she'd probably turn up wearing white or red. It's a very intimate wedding, roughly 50-60 guests, so not exactly a big crowd for her to disappear into. I feel like I'm being backed into a corner here. If I don't invite her, we risk the best friend not attending one of the most important days of my fiancé's life. If I do invite her, I'll be spending my wedding day waiting for her to do something unhinged. What do I do in this situation? I was thinking to hire a security guard in case she pulls anything and they can quickly escort her out the building, but I don't know if that's too far. Story 3. In a small, mist-covered town nestled between mountains, there lived a mysterious clockmaker named Elias. His shop was tucked away on the corner of a cobblestone street, its wooden sign creaking in the wind. No one knew much about Elias, except that his clocks were unlike any others. They weren't just timekeepers. They seemed to whisper secrets, to hold something more than the passing hours. One evening, a young woman named Ava entered the shop, seeking a gift for her father's birthday. The shop was filled with the sound of ticking clocks, their rhythmic hums filling the air with an eerie calm. As she wandered through the aisles of ornate timepieces, something caught her eye. A sleek golden clock sitting in the back corner of the shop. Elias appeared from the shadows, his long white beard brushing the tips of his collar. I see you found it," he said, his voice low and soft. "That clock has a story of its own." Ava was intrigued. "What do you mean?" Every clock I make tells a tale, Elias explained. But this one holds a secret. It has the power to turn back time. Just 1 minute. But in those 60 seconds, you can change the course of history. Ava didn't believe him at first. It sounded like the ramblings of an old man, but something about his eyes, shiny and filled with mystery, made her think otherwise. Would you like to try? Elias asked, handing her the golden timepiece. Ava hesitated, then nodded. She reached out and took the clock from his hands. The moment her fingers brushed against it, a cold rush of air swirled around her. The hands of the clock began to spin wildly, faster and faster. The room blurred and twisted. Suddenly, everything stopped. Ava found herself back in her apartment, but something was different. The clock on her wall had stopped ticking at exactly 7 Hunquak p.m. She looked out the window and saw the familiar city skyline, but this time, there was a figure standing at the edge of the rooftop, someone she knew. Her father. Her heart raced. This was the moment she'd always feared, the moment her father had fallen from the rooftop years ago. She had a choice now. She could reach out and save him. She could change everything. With a deep breath, Ava ran out the door and toward the rooftop, the clock in her hand. As she reached the top, she saw her father about to step off the edge. Without thinking, she threw herself toward him, pulling him back just as he lost his balance. He stared at her, wide-eyed. How did you know? Ava smiled, clutching the golden clock in her hands. Because I had a second chance. The moment the clock stopped, everything went back to normal. The world resumed its usual pace, but Ava knew she would never forget the secret she had uncovered in that ticking, timeless moment. I hope you liked it. Let me know if you'd like more stories. Story 4. My parents left me with a killer. Hi, I'm 38 female. Here's my story. In the early 90s, my mom and stepdad moved my family from Arkansas to Chicago, where my stepdad had family. We move in with his mother for a short period of time. I loved this so much. I was not even old enough for kindergarten yet. My grandma was very nice to me. She would take me shopping with her at all the thrift stores. She would take me to church. I remember a doll she bought me. She taught me about Elvis Presley and would let me watch her put her long, thin hair up in her Pentecostal bun. I spent a lot of time with her in that short time frame. During my stay at grandma's, I started going to preschool. My mom and my stepdad's sister were teachers there. I was in my aunt's classroom, and I enjoyed that as much as I can remember, although I didn't like the bus rides. I also don't know why I rode on the bus when my mom worked there, but I remember being on the bus towards the back. A boy told me to lay down on the seat, and he climbed on top of me to do what his dad does to his mom. Remember, we are preschoolers. Poor kid. I can't imagine what his home life was like. Anyways, my aunt was one of my favorite people. She was nice to me at the preschool. I do remember her talking about the crack babies in my classroom. I remember being the only white child in the class. I wonder if that has to do with my attraction to black men? Probably not, but anyways. My aunt would babysit me a lot. She has a son that's probably 5 years or so older than me that I would hang out with. I don't have many memories of him. I think he did bad things to me. I remember falling down the stairs a few times at her place. Strange though, my mom didn't really like her, and people always whispered about her. I was left in her care many, many, many times. I'm 38. I recently learned she murdered her first kid. She stabbed him to death. A 5-year-old baby boy, murdered. She even went to prison but was let out on a technicality. She claims someone must have broken in while she showered. I just can't believe my stepdad let me stay with her, over and over again. My mom didn't know anything of the crime at the time, so she says, but still didn't feel right about my aunt. This still kind of messes with my head from time to time, that she could flip a switch and murdered me too. Or maybe her son, who I am sure shoved me down the stairs, would have killed me. I think sexual abuse happened because I remember playing in his bed a lot. We moved back to Arkansas during first grade. Never went back, never saw her again. I think she's still alive. Creepy. Her son grew up, got married, had kids, beat those kids, and he went to prison. Anyways, just wanted to share. I don't know why. Guess I'm lucky to be here. I hope you enjoyed these Reddit stories. Remember to like and subscribe, and come back for more.